it's Jennifer from Flux. In this video, I'm going to show you how to crochet these super cute pool party earrings. These are fun and super summery and really quick to stitch up. You could stitch them in different colors depending on a swimsuit color or an outfit color that you're wearing, or you can make one for a friend in their favorite colors too. Now we're going to learn how to crochet this circle here. We're later going to add a tassel to the bottom of the circle, and then I'm going to show you just how to throw some beads onto the front of our hook so that it adds a little splash of color. And these just take a very short time to make. So the finished piece is about 3.5 inches tall. They're definitely a statement earring. Each one of these circles is about 1 inch wide and 1 inch tall, and then our little tassel here is about 1.5 inches tall. For this project, you'll need a pair of scissors, a tapestry needle. We're going to be using these large earring hooks. They have a big loop at the top and they kind of latch at the bottom. And then they have a little loop here at the bottom. We're going to need 2 of those. You'll need 2 jump rings to attach our earrings to our crochet circle that we're going to make. As an option, you can add some beads to your earring, and we're going to be kind of stringing them onto the hook of our earring. So you can leave it plain or you can add beads. It's totally up to you. Just make sure that you give your bead a little test onto your earring hook before you start so that you can make sure that the hole is big enough to string them on. We're going to be using some embroidery floss. I have here a bright pink for the circle and then an aqua color for the tassel at the bottom. So this is a DMC cotton embroidery floss. This can be found at pretty much any craft store, and usually like around where the yarn or the embroidery is found, like the cross stitch and things like that. Now you can use any colors you like. I'm using number 603 and number 964 and for mine. You can use any 2 colors you like. And then we're going to be using a small hook with this. We're going to use a 3.5 millimeter E crochet hook to crochet our 2 circles. You'll also need some pliers. Now these are jewelry pliers. They're just a little bit smaller than like regular household pliers. You can use these smaller jewelry pliers. You can use regular needle nose pliers. So this is to open and close your jump rings when you're ready to put them on. Now some people can do this with their hand. I need a tool to do mine, and I like to use 2 of them to kind of pry them open. Some people, you can use your hand and 1 pair of pliers. So it's up to you. See what works best for you, but I'm going to be using 2 for mine. Now also as an option, we're going to be using some fabric stiffener to paint onto the back of our crochet circle, only because when you're crocheting with embroidery floss, it's very soft and silky, and to prevent any curling or bending of our circle, we want it to be nice and sturdy. I'm going to show you how to paint some fabric stiffener using just a little brush, and we're just going to squirt it right onto a little piece of paper and paint it onto the back. It's very easy. I'm going to show you how to do it, but again, it's totally optional. If you don't want to do this part, you don't have to. So let's get started. Okay, we're going to begin by working on our crochet circles first. We're going to make 2 of them. So whenever you have a skein of embroidery floss, what I always recommend is to keep your labels on while you work. And every skein will have a little at the bottom, usually down by the barcode. You can see on my other skein too. You'll have the end. You can see it. So what I like to do is hold both labels in my hand and just gently pull. And if you keep those labels on there, it'll stay nice and neat as you work. Okay? So pull a little bit of that out. And what we're going to do, again, we're doing the pink for our crochet circle and the aqua for our little tassel. Okay? So what you want to do to begin is wrap the yarn around your fingers to make a loop. Bring the yarn behind the loop, reach in with your hook, bring up that loop, and tighten. The next thing we're going to do is do a chain 4. We're going to create a ring that we'll be working our stitches into. So to make a chain, wrap the yarn around the hook and bring it through the loop. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you prefer the magic ring, please feel free to do that instead if you like that better. Now we're going to go to that first chain that we made, the chain farthest from our hook, and join with a slip stitch to close the ring. So insert your hook into that chain farthest from the hook, and then bring up a loop, and you'll have 2 loops on your hook. Now you're going to bring that loop through the loop that was there originally, And now we have our circle that we will be working our stitches into. I always say too, when you're working small like this, just go nice and slow. It can be a little fiddly and tiny. Now we're going to hold this tail along the edges we work. That will weave it in as we go along and just save us a step later. And you can kind of open this ring up too if you need to. All right, so this is just one round. So for round 1, what we're going to do to begin is chain 2. 1 and 2. And then we're going to work 15 double crochets into the center of the ring. So this chain 2 counted as one of our double crochets. So we'll end up having a total of 16 spokes on our wheel, if you will. So let's work on our 15 double crochets. So to make a double crochet, wrap the yarn around the hook, insert it into the center of the ring, and bring up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on the hook. Wrap the yarn around the hook again, bring it through the first 2 loops. You'll have 2 loops on the hook. Wrap the yarn around the hook again, bring it through the last 2 loops, 1 loop. Okay, so that was 1 double crochet, and we're doing a total of 15. So 1, 2, 3, and if you need to get a little bit more, make sure to hold both labels and just kind of pull some out for yourself so it doesn't come apart. Okay, moving right along, we're going to do our 4th double crochet. Again, go nice and slow just so you can keep track of all this little stuff going on. So that was 4, 5, 6, 7, get my yarn over here, and then 8, 9, still holding that tail along the edges we work, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Now, that chain 2 we did at the beginning of the round, you want to go in that topmost chain of that chain 2, insert the hook into that chain, bring up a loop, now bring that loop through the loop already on your hook, and our little circle is complete. So you can lay it on the table at this point, and then give your yarn a little snip, and then we're just going to fasten off. Now, we're going to leave this tail intact for now because we're going to use that to attach it to our earring hook a little bit later. Okay? And then you can give this centermost tail a tug. And if you want to, grab your tapestry needle. You can trim it off right then and there. Or you can grab this and just go into a few stitches and kind of weave it in. Okay? And then give it a snip. So next, we're going to start putting this together a little bit, okay? Okay, when you're done, you can just thread your tapestry needle, flip your little disc over to the back, and we're just going to kind of weave in that end. Just go in those back loops only and weave that in. Just like that. And then you can kind of shape up your circle if you need to and give it a snip. Okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab our jump ring from earlier. You just want to, they're really small, so just take your time with them. And your pliers. And we're just going to take our pliers. Now, if you can do this with your hand, I mean, that's amazing. So, but if you need pliers, feel free to use them. And just open up your jump ring a little bit. And then in any one of these stitches on the top here, I'm going to save this bottom where I joined to tie my tassel. But in the topmost stitch, you're going to just hook that topmost stitch, whatever stitch you choose. You can kind of turn it a little and see how you like it. And then we're going to grab our earring, and you can see that it has like a little dip in the bottom, and we're just going to hook it onto that one. and then grab your pliers or with your hand and just bend it back into shape, okay? So now we have our little circle and our disc, okay? The next thing we want to do is open our earring up, and what we're going to do is grab some of these beads that we used or talked about before, and we're going to start stringing them on. And I'm just doing some random colors. There's some green in here. There's some pink that matches our disc, white, yellow, orange. We just want to mix up the colors and make it really fun. And we're going to slide these around to the front here, just like that. And we're going to just fill up this front part, okay? So go ahead and string those on until the front part is filled up with beads, and then we'll rejoin in just a minute. Okay, our beads are on there. They're in a nice little stack. You could do your stack shorter. It's totally up to you. But let's lay this down for a minute because we're going to grab our aqua next. So grab again from the end here, and we're going to pull out a little bit of the floss, and we're going to cut a piece that's about 6 inches or so, and cut a second piece that's 6 inches, and just put it aside for now. Then we're going to pull out some of this floss, and we're going to make a little tassel, okay? Okay, so what we want to do is wrap this floss around just 2 fingers because it's going to be pretty small. So we're going to go, every time you go over your index finger, count it as 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and then let it go to the bottom, and then we'll trim the bottom. Now grab that piece that you cut a few minutes ago, one of the pieces, and what we'll do is we'll take, without letting go, we're going to take this piece and go into that little bundle we created through the middle here, and then you can sort of slide it carefully out, and we're going to take our bottom here and just tie it. Okay, so go ahead and tie that top just like that, and then again, take your time. It's a little bit small, and then we'll kind of smooth this down. And then what we'll do next is take our other strand that we cut, and we're going to lay this down on our table. And just at the top here, we'll give this a little tie, just right at the top there, or a little tassel. Okay, just like that, and tie it one more time to keep it in place. Okay, now whenever you make a tassel, you'll have a piece that lays down really nice, and you'll have a piece that sticks straight up. So what you'll want to do for that is to grab your needle, and you're just going to kind of like run it up under that band you just created and just tuck it in. Just pull that down like that, okay? And then we want to keep these 2 ties at the top intact because we're going to tie that onto our little crochet circle. Okay, now get everything smoothed down. And then at the bottom here, we're going to flip this over and cut the loops. Okay, and then what you'll want to do is grab your earring and kind of hold the tassel on there and figure out how long you would like it to be. Okay, so I'm going to give mine a little bit of a trim here. So you want to sort of comb it down so everything's kind of going the same direction here. And then just kind of hold it in place and give it a trim, okay? So just go straight across. If you need to touch it up, that's okay too. Okay, and then we're going to take our little tassel, kind of straighten it out a little bit. And then grab your earring and take one of your ties here and thread it on. And we're going to go right in to the bottom of our disc that we made earlier, that bottom stitch. I did mine on the join, so it was a little bit hidden there. And I'm just tying this like 1 or 2 times is fine. Just like that, okay? And then just kind of straighten everything out. And then what you can do, you can either snip those, or you can also kind of weave them in and make them disappear. So if you want to, thread your two ends and just kind of go up under that band like that. And that'll just kind of go away. We can trim the bottom in a minute. Get your other side, thread that side with your needle, and then just go right up under that band like we did before, okay? Just like that. Now smooth everything out, and if you want to give it a little snip, get everything nice and even, you can give it another little snip there. Make sure it goes straight across, and then your little earring is complete. Just like that, okay? Now, I wanted to show you what it would look like with half the beads. So we can take some off and just kind of experiment with some different looks here. Let's leave that green one on the top. So you could do like half the beads if you wanted to, like that, okay? So hook your earring back, and those are ready to wear. So you can make yourself a second one, and then your earring will be ready to wear. Okay, I went and made the second one, and they're looking really cute. But if you want to put a little fabric stiffener on the back, I'm going to show you how to do it real quick. So I just grabbed 2 Post-it notes just to show you. You want to make sure you really shake it up. You could use a paper plate. That would probably be a little bit better. Just put a little tiny blob down, and then you're going to flip your pieces over to the back. Okay, just really carefully just flip them over. And I put these on a different little piece of paper so that they could dry overnight, okay? I'm also, if you noticed, I sort of fanned my tassels out a little bit, and I'm going to put a tiny bit of the fabric stiffener on the back just so my tassels stay how I want them to stay, okay? So what we're going to do is just grab a little bit of, now again, this is like watery glue. We're just going to get some on our brush, and then all you want to do is just paint. I like to start from the middle and kind of paint my way outward. We're just going to paint the back of these. You don't want to do too much because you don't want it to soak through your piece. And then I'm just going to paint a little bit onto the back of my tassel just so all these little strands kind of stay in place. Okay, and then just repeat for the other side. Again, just use it very sparingly. It's better to do multiple layers than like one big thick layer. And the more you use this, the more you'll kind of get a feel for how it works. You can already see it's drying clear. It dries pretty quickly, but I usually give it overnight for this product, just to make sure like nothing gets disturbed and you know, your handiwork stays put. So just put it in a safe place overnight and make sure everything dries thoroughly before you wear it. Okay, so we're going to let these dry, kind of shape up your tassel how you want it, and let this dry overnight. So our fabric stiffener has dried, and now our earrings are finished. So we can take them off of here, and we're going to flip them over because remember we painted our stuff on the back here, and you can see how pretty these earrings look. So we have our little bead accent to add a little splash of color, our crochet circles, and our lovely tassels. And I just wanted to point out too how these tassels are going to kind of stay put because we put our fabric stiffener on the back. So that's it. That's how you make the pool party earrings. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure and click the subscribe button to get all the latest Fiber Flux video updates. Thanks again.